Well, if busing migrants to Martha's Vineyard and Vice President Kamala Harris's Washington, D.C. home didn't get the message across, Governor Ron DeSantis is now threatening to send migrants to President Joe Biden's house in Delaware at the beach.
Yeah, President Biden doesn't seem too worried about the situation. Here's his response inviting DeSantis to the beach.
President Ron DeSantis looks like he's sending migrants to Delaware. Do you have any comment or response to that, sir?
He should come visit. We have a beautiful shoreline.
All right.
That was kind of funny. All right. But Joe Biden's answer to homeless migrants, oh, hey, my governor friend, it's a beautiful Delaware shoreline. It actually is. Not taking it seriously, that little laugh there. Joining us now to weigh in, please welcome Florida State Representative Daniel Perez. Daniel, happy to have you with us here. You know, President Biden, you heard that making light of the migrant situation. Your reaction to what's going on and also to his response.
First, Katrina, thank you so much for having me. And I did see President Biden's comment, but I can assure you that the moment there is a group of undocumented individuals on this beautiful shoreline, he's going to be fairly upset. And he'll probably do what they did in Martha's Vineyard, which is call the National Guard and within 24 hours, ship them out of their sanctuary city or their sanctuary state. So I would love to call him out on that bluff because I'm pretty sure he doesn't mean it.
There was a lawsuit filed against DeSantis over whether the migrants actually consented to going to Martha's Vineyard. I mean, somebody might say, well, they consented to coming across the border and they weren't supposed to do that. So whatever comes, they may not know what comes. But what's your thought about that? In other words, it may have been against their will or it may have been against them knowing actually what was going on.
I think this lawsuit will give a lot of answers to the questions or the statements that the left has been trying to throw out there that have been inaccurate. Not one of the 48 individuals that were taken to Martha's Vineyard went to Martha's Vineyard unwillingly. All of them consented to do this. This was voluntary. It was offered to them and they accepted it. They had a map of where they were landing, of what they were going to see when they got there. This was not anything forceful at all. They were given great conditions in their trip to Martha's Vineyard. Quite frankly, better conditions than they would get if they wouldn't have done this trip, which sometimes is a one-way ticket on a Greyhound bus. So I think what Governor Ron DeSantis did was he helped these individuals get to Martha's Vineyard. And I can only imagine what's going through their minds. Like my parents came from Cuba in 1969, fleeing a communist regime. I understand the position that these people are in, and it's a tough position for them to be in. So I understand why they would say, of course, I will take a flight to Martha's Vineyard if that's where I'm going to be accepted. Remember, not only did they volunteer to go, but they were going to a place that's a sanctuary state. It's a place that is welcoming them and says, you can stay here. We will help you. We now know that that wasn't true and that they were lying. But every part of this has been twisted and turned in a certain direction to favor whatever leftist is saying the story, but it's just not true. The truth is they volunteered to go and they were supposed to be welcomed and they weren't.
Yeah, and you know, Daniel, it's interesting too because we're now hearing about the mayor from El Paso who is busing migrants out of state, but somehow that is okay.
Who's a Democrat?
Who's a Democrat, right? Did I miss that? Yeah, El Paso Democrat
That's
mayor,
correct.
so of course it's okay then. All right, Congressman Daniel Perez, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.